I don't have any fat.
It's good.
I have hard and soft muscle.
Hard and soft.
Welcome to this episode of Clinically Pressed. We are here with Andy Askow, the world champion.
Nope.
What do you mean, nope?
Two-time.
Two-time, I was going to say.
Newly this year's world champion. This is our follow-up episode to when we first talked with him in Cooper Wage leading up to it. So we're just wanting to cover how Worlds went, what you thought, things you might tweak. Then we're going to talk NSCA with AJ and Andy both being there, and then potentially some the drug testing news in the world today because it's running rampant. So, our Worlds.
How's it feel to defend your world title?
I mean, it was pretty good. Definitely didn't go as planned, but turned out well in the end. So,
What didn't go as planned?
well, when we went down there, we were hoping for like an 8:30 squat, but a sub-junior broke my world record. Was it the day before I lifted? So we had to just chip it, which is adding half a kilo to it.
Yeah.
So I only squatted 366 kilos, 807, and then bench. We were hoping to break the world record. Ended up missing the world record, which kind of sucked, but just not there yet. It wasn't like a technical issue or anything. I just wasn't strong enough. And then for deadlift,
I noticed the change in grips after the first
weird,
rep.
Yeah. I'd been starting to pull hook grip before I left, and everything felt great. Even in the warm-up room, it felt good, but there were Texas power bars in the warm-up room, and when I went out on the Alico, my hand opened up, and I couldn't hold on to it. And actually, 9 for 9, the company that I was shooting, got a picture of me, like, right at lockout with the bar on my fingertips and this one holding strong.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I had to pull switch grip, and so for a 7 for 9 day, I guess it was as good as it could have gone. But that deadlift kind of cost me a best lifter award.
Gotcha.
Possibly.
I know the announcers were going on how you had another 20 kilograms on that
Yeah.
squat.
Yeah, it's got to piss you off just listening to that. Like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Everyone's like, why didn't you go heavier? It's like,
Right.
That's where the strategy just comes into so much play, right?
yeah.
So next time, though, you'll just crush it, right?
No, I'm going to quit powerlifting and pursue interpretive dance.
I can see that in you. Well, and then the episode's over. We have a lot to talk about, so that's great.
Interesting.
You were supposed to say that till the end.
Yeah. Well, breaking news. Oh, do you think we could just start a Twitter storm with that?
Nobody likes me.
Andy Askow quits powerlifting to pursue interpretive dance.
So next on the horizons for you then?
Nationals in, I think it's 15 weeks?
Yeah.
October 16th.
Is that under? Because I remember back to our episode with Cooper, he said, well, we're currently 48 weeks out from nationals.
He's 48, he's like a year out from equipped nationals.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because when AJ mentioned that nationals are coming up, I was like, wait a minute, like, I thought
Yeah, they're 2 weeks.
I didn't know if it, yeah, okay.
15 weeks out.
And I really just want to train, but I can't yet. I have like those 2 events coming up. I have that guy flying in from Rhode Island to do that video on me and John Hack, and then this weekend, because it's Monday, this weekend I have a gym opening. Well, both are at gym openings, but I have to lift heavy for those, so I can't really just drop back and do volume.
Gotcha.
So will this affect your training for nationals?
No, I mean, I just push it back a little bit.
What have you been doing the last 3-4 weeks?
The week after Worlds, I think I lifted like twice, just doing some high volume bench and squat and deadlift, so I lifted 3 times. The next week, I lifted once, I think, and then the next week it was at NSCA, and I lifted with Silent Mike and Marcus, Matt Vincent, Lauren Conlon down there.
And at the Alico booth, right?
Yeah, and
got
at
a
the
squat
Alico
in that day.
Yeah, that was. I actually pulled the footage off my camera last night from that, and it was not a pretty looking.
Can you see the bar just?
Yeah, it was not good. And then last week, I squatted twice.
Yeah, I saw the 700-pound pause squat.
God, I
That was
don't
fun.
know how you can do that. You're a freak. Just camping out down there. Are you kidding me?
It didn't feel like it was that long, but
I just kept waiting for it not to move. But no, sure enough.
You get
Put it
nervous?
right back up.
You just know.
I know I'm at least coming out of the hole. If I fold over, I fold over. But
Yeah.
So training up to nationals, gonna stick with the quote-unquote Askow frequency project.
I might not like this far out, but I think the last 4-ish weeks I'll probably do a very similar peak like I did, because damn if I didn't feel good.
There you go.
That was by far the best squats I've ever felt in a meet, like unreal. But just, it's like the drive to work. If you do it every day, you can do it with your eyes closed and you're just, and like, it was ridiculous.
That's pretty cool.
Askow.
How was the experience down there, just in general?
How
All
was
the people,
what?
just down at the Worlds.
It was, I mean, there weren't like crazy amounts of people, but there were a lot of really, like Bill Kazmaier was there, and he did some announcing, and then there were a bunch of people from the U.S. since it was here who didn't qualify, but are very good lifters who were there, and got to run into a bunch of my old friends and stuff like that.
Nice.
They premiered that SBD belt down there.
Okay.
Have you guys heard of that yet? SBD is a company that makes like those red and black knee sleeves that like everyone wears. They came out with a belt. Have you guys ever seen the lever belts?
Yeah.
They came out with a lever belt that you don't need like a screwdriver to adjust. And they premiered
pretty
that
slick.
down there. I don't know if I can talk about that or not, but
We'll find out.
yeah.
If it's in the episode, you can.
I feel like if you premiere it, somebody's got it up on social media already.
That's true. Already public knowledge.
So then how were NSCAs for the both of you?
Yeah, it was your first national conference. What'd you think?
I was not prepared.
Prepared for what?
Everything. But mostly, the academic stuff was pretty cool. Eric Helms gave a really good talk, I thought.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Andy Fry's talk was pretty interesting, too.
From Kansas?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so he did a lot of overtraining research in his early days and kind of summarized some of his previous work and more current updates on the issue. Kind of ties in nicely with all the I mean, there was monitoring stuff everywhere at that conference.
I can only imagine.
It is definitely the hottest thing in sports science right now. It's different ways to do it, different results from it, different feedback.
What are your opinions on the best ways based on what you saw? Or
I mean,
what are the best things to monitor?
Kind of depends on what type of athlete and sport you're dealing with. I would think, from a physiology standpoint, the heart rate variability stuff is probably the best way to assess how your athletes are recovering. especially from like a neuromuscular standpoint. And then,
Did they have anything on? Is it just in the morning?
yep,
Doing it first thing in the morning?
that's really the only way to do it.
Okay, I didn't know if there was something else out there. That's the only way I had known of.
Yeah,
But
to get the best information. And then there's a lot of others with all the catapult and the
Yep.
Zephyr straps that we kind of use here of assessing like in practice, training load, physiological load placed on the athletes. But I feel like we're just starting to figure out how to use that information, what to do with it. Like that guy that had a poster right across from you that was from the Seahawks.
Yeah,
They
that was
had
pretty interesting.
he kind of summarized some of the stuff that they were doing, but he, just talking with them informally, his bathroom or
His bathroom.
his background is in, God, what was it? Like diagnostic mathematics or something, but he's
Yeah.
also interested in strength conditioning. So the Seahawks hired this guy
whoa,
because of his stats and mathematics background to decipher all that information.
Right.
'Cause I think that's the biggest problem is, we can get the info, but who knows
it's like the guy from Moneyball.
how to do anything with it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
A joke when we talk about the sports science club we want to do is we got to go over and reach out to the stats department to just find one kid that's got some interest in sports and just say, here's numbers, do cool things with it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So,
Yeah. Just because it would save everybody so much time trying to figure out how to do it otherwise.
And then like Fry was talking, you can assess all these biomarkers of it, but none of it means anything if performance isn't going up or down. Like that should be your ultimate thing that you're looking at. Are they still performing or aren't they? Because that'll tell you whether or not you need to change things or just
yeah,
keep
otherwise
doing what
it's
you're doing.
almost just a waste of time.
Yeah, he's like, that's what we should be caring about the most. So,
Excuse you, sir.
Too many things going on today. Too many things.
I'm more important though.
Yeah.
what other talks did you go to that? I'm trying to think if there are any ones that stick out in my mind. You missed the velocity one that was pretty good.
Yeah, and then we decided to do velocity-based studies. So
Yeah, no kidding.
that's great.
I caught it at least. Video might be available.
Yeah,
Online.
I looked for, I think Helm's talk, because somebody was asking about it, and I knew he had one of the big rooms, so
Yeah.
figured it'd be pretty good coverage, and I couldn't find it yet.
I can't remember that guy's name from Australia. I really should. Anyway. Yeah, so one down next year. Probably have some data to present that, all right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Got a couple things in the works. That one's in Vegas.
Hopefully be alive to present it.
Yep, that's step one.
I just know who I have to avoid now.
New Orleans got the best Andy one day. Dangerous city.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
especially with Texans.
Yeah.
Texans.
Assholes.
It was not good. Took me a good couple days to recover.
Yeah, you didn't train that next day? Oh,
No. I slept for like 16 hours that day.
I think I saw you a little bit in there.
I hardly
Maybe
remember.
some water.
That made me really nauseous. I think just because of how fast I chugged it.
That's funny.
Thank you much.
You're welcome.
Oh, sweetie pie.
I thought you would breakfast.
So the other thing we're going to talk about was some of the drug testing stuff. I've gotten interviewed recently with some of the buzz in the Olympics media coverage about what they're testing for, how frequently. So how about from your standpoint, how often do you get tested? Do you know specifically what they look for?
Yes.
Do they follow you around like they do with like track Olympic athletes?
What do you mean? Like whereabouts forms?
That or like can show up
Yep.
wherever. I've worked with a couple. Like we were out at just a practice, and these two people showed up to test a pole vaulter that I worked with, and he happened to just be down there at practice, but they literally went all around, and
Yeah.
I didn't know how far that spanned over all of the sports and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common thing in a lot of confined sports.
Okay.
What we have to do, we have to fill out two because we kind of have like the IPF can come test us at any time,
Right.
and then the USAPL can come test us.
Okay.
So we have to fill out a USAPL whereabouts form and an IPF whereabouts form.
So do they contract through WADA or USADA?
I think
IPF is WADA.
IPF is WADA.
I don't know if USAPL follows.
USAPL has they just passed a rule that it used to be the the judges who did the drug testing, but now they have to contract it out. And I forget the name of it, but the guy who was the drug testing officer for the USAPL just started his own company.
Okay.
And now he does drug testing for USAPL as a contract.
Yeah, I'm sure there's all kinds of hoops to jump through to get
Yeah.
that verification.
The UFC just went in and are now supposedly the most stringent drug testing among major sports, and I think they're with USADA because it was they actually hired the guy that was going after Lance Armstrong to be their person that directs all that stuff, and lost John Jones before the fight, and now are gonna have issues with Brock Lesnar.
Well, it sounded like
Post fight.
Have you read the details on that?
I haven't looked at it.
It's
super
since
closely.
he agreed to do the fight on such short notice, it looked like they gave him a probationary period where you're not subject to drug testing, because it's they almost give you a little bit of a buffer. Yeah, just in case you are, we won't test you in just 4 months. So it's you somehow tested positive, but they still let him fight, and they didn't know, I guess, in time, but I think they're still going to let him keep his title, from what I can see, because it was still within that 4 year or 4 month. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
You got a lot of money from winning though,
Oh yeah.
and the other guy's pissed about it. He wants the $2.5 million.
I bet he does. What a freak.
So what do they test for you guys? Do they tell you?
Well, you can see they check it off. So there are two panels, there's a stimulant panel
Yeah.
and a steroid panel. At the national level, they only test for the steroid panel. So ephedrine, dimethylamine, stuff like that is banned, but they don't test for it at the national level. But if you get the full WADA panel, they test for everything.
They have pretty tough sanctions in USAPL for violations.
I think they kind of do a common sense type thing, which I didn't know about, but the past two major suspensions I've seen, one, Jesse Norris took Craze, which had, I forget what the stimulant is, and he got a 6-month ban, which should have been I think it should have been a year or 2, but they're you probably weren't trying to cheat, it's just a stimulant, it's your first offense.
Yeah.
We'll give you 6 months. And then this girl named Natalie Hansen at Equip Nationals failed a drug test. She hurt her back on her last deadlift and then took a hydrocodone, and then they came and told her she needed to be tested. So I think she declared that she took it, and they didn't ban her, but they stripped her of her nationals results, and I think that was the end of it.
That's a banned substance, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, there's a lot of, and we didn't get into too much, just my time working Division I, if, one of our guys who was going to throw internationally, there's no way anyhow, even with doctors' documentation, we could put him on albuterol, because it's a banned substance on their thing. But for the NCAA, even here, you can be on Adderall, but we have to have a full thing from your doctor saying you were tested for it, you were diagnosed with it, and say that.
A TUE, therapeutic usage exemption.
Yeah, basically that. And then so if you get tested, you present that. I got both of them.
Okay.
You present that to the NCAA, or I don't even know if you do it before, if you wait till it comes back that it was a positive result, and then you submit that in, and
I think
then
you
it's
have
not
to
a big
file it
deal.
with the governing body too.
Because the NCAA does it a little bit differently. They don't test, from what I've been told, for recreational use. All they do is performance enhancing.
And I think schools can input their own policies.
Schools do that, and so when I kind of coordinated that, we would do a sports panel, which covered a lot of stimulants, some of the potential hydrocodones or things that you could abuse, but then you could always add on a spice one, which is testing for all the different synthetic cannabinoids, and you could also add an anabolic profile just to make sure, but that wasn't something that we tested for.
I'm sure it's just too expensive to
all
do
the
it
time.
every time.
Yeah, we probably spent over $30,000 on drug testing alone.
Wow, bet.
I mean, we would do it every 2 weeks, plus then the Big 12 could come in whenever they wanted, and same with the NCAA. You get an email 2 days before they're going to come in the afternoon saying, we need all these people. Figure out how to get them. Yeah. Okay. That was always fun.
It's a weird world.
It is.
For us, we have to give them like our work, school, training schedule, our home address, work address, school address, gym address. If we're going to be traveling, we have to tell them where and when. And then we have to give them an hour window every night that they can show up to a place if they want to and drug test you. But they can also just call you and give you 24 hours to report to drug testing. And our state chair's in Milwaukee. So Tanya could call me and be like, hey, be here by 8 tomorrow.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Price you pay. And that's all at your expense.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to a kid from New York at Worlds, and he's like, I think he's like 16 or 17. He's still in high school, and his state chair called him and was like, you gotta get to upstate New York, man. Like, so he had to like, it was maybe Brooklyn. I think he had to go to Brooklyn. And it's like, yeah, you just have to show up. It's like, you just made a 16 or 17-year-old kid drive through that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you need
Thank
more
you.
coffee and water?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think there's any corruption within that. We've seen a lot of that play out in the Olympic side of things with countries,
Oh, with countries, yeah.
being involved in the doping scandals themselves. How about within a couple of these organizations? I'm not sure, just speculation, but
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing it, but I think, like, your analysis, like, is just not the best way anyway.
True.
Because literally you can gas up into the meat with, like, different compounds and still pass a drug test just because they don't, A, throw metabolites, or B, can't be tested for. Like, so one is testosterone suspension. There are multiple like compounds of testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
You can take test suspension, and there's no metabolites thrown into urine, so you can literally take it in front of the drug testing officer, tell them what it is, because there's no like executive positives in USAPL. You can take insulin and IGF.
Yeah.
So
You can't test for that.
yeah.
So you think there will be tests for that ever?
They're just blood tests. So I think that's really where we need to move as like an organization. I think drug testing blood would be a lot better and quicker. I was notified of, yes please. I was notified, I got my notification of drug testing at the Arnold 5 hours before I was actually drug tested. And once you're notified, you can't leave.
Oh.
Like, you have to sit there and wait.
But then you can't be too hydrated, so you can't slam a bunch of water.
Yeah.
Not like the NCAA, when they do it, they test specific gravity right then and there. And if it's not, they'll sit and make you wait.
Yep.
Or if it's 2, they'll make you hydrate. So yeah, we'd start at 6:30 in the morning, and sometimes we'd be there till frickin' noon.
Yeah. It's annoying, but the reality of it is, like, if there was blood testing,
Get a phlebotomist in there.
be like, probably for all the people we got drug tested, it'd be half an hour, 45 minutes.
I know hair follicles or something they talked about going to, but I think that's more for the recreational side of it. I don't know if it's as much performance enhancing. And we never really talked about performance enhancing too much. We were always just trying to
quit the pot smokers.
Bust the smokers and the partiers.
Which is weird. It's like,
Yeah, it is.
why would you care more about people smoking weed than something that's going to make them bigger, stronger, faster?
Yeah.
Let them have that.
You have a policy, but then it's all up to people to enforce it. You know, like that's the hardest thing. We were chatting about it even before coming over here. like the IOC, like banning Russia. But there's so much money to be made that,
Find a way to let them in.
it's so hard to do that because it's all money. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel that way with powerlifting or if it's not
We
necessarily
don't have money yet.
That's what I meant, like on such a big stage, but
They're hoping to crack into the Olympics.
Yeah, we've been. I mean, the IPF's been talking like with the IOC for years and years and years, and I haven't heard any recent updates. But last year in Salo, the IOC was there watching the World Championships, and then they interviewed one of the directors of the IOC, like one of the directors of new sports or something. And I mean, he had nothing but good things to say, but I'm sure he wouldn't say bad things at the World Championships.
Right. We're going to get rid of wrestling, which is one of the first Olympic sports, but we're going to keep table tennis, and no offense to table tennis players or archery players or badminton players, but we're going to get rid of like one of the original sports.
Yeah.
Same thing with like softball and baseball.
Powerlifting seems like a natural fit too. If you have Olympic weightlifting,
For sure.
Yeah,
Throw the
you
next.
could just set it up and run it right out of the same thing, I would think.
Yeah, so
A little bit more equipment, yeah.
Well, literally all you have to do is like get rid of the bumpers, get the calibrated plates, and then bring on the combo rack. You're good to go.
Yeah, that could be a great addition. And you're already doing a lot of all their logistical things that I would think would be a concern for the IOC with drug testing policies and
that was the big change from the time I went to Worlds in 2012 to last year. Everything's so different. Like everything's so much more regimented. Like there are people, they're called technical secretaries who like stand in front of the doorway. You can't be in the tunnel until you're up to lift because people can't see you. It looks weird. Like if you're just back there peeking out. They did a lot of things for like the lifters. So having lifter representation at like national governing body meetings and stuff like that. Just trying to be as close to like the Olympic sports as you can be. And it's come a long way, but I still probably think we have some ways to go.
Yeah, it sounds like they're making a lot of the right strides to take something and make it more legitimate.
Yeah, I think it's still like at least 2 games
yeah.
or 3 games away from happening, unfortunately.
Well, 12 years, I'll be 34
There you go.
at my peak.
Is there a peak for powerlifting? Just as you kind of mentioned that. Or
Does it defy it all the time?
Yeah, Dave Ricks just squatted 310 kilos at 57 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, I think 205 body weight.
So no, not really. Just kind of depends.
There doesn't have to be.
Yeah, there you go. Crazy.
It's weird how that is different across different sports, though.
Oh yeah,
Like
Absolutely.
cross-country runners, stuff like that, they're already peaking at 17, 18 years old, some of them.
Yeah,
And then they just,
too. I mean,
especially some. Oh yeah.
There are other sports besides powerlifting?
Yeah,
Not
there's
even
this
a
thing
sport.
called ESPN. You should check it out sometime.
What?
I didn't know that.
You better before you start your dance career.
You could just be out in Vegas for the NSCA next year while you got your
scared for
interpretive dance career.
Very scary.
We're gonna have to make a trip to one of these conferences. One of these
Next year in
major ones.
Vegas.
Be a good one to hit.
And a bad one to hit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I want to.
Don't hang out with him.
I'm gonna feel.
But Vegas can be extremely cheap. You just gotta know how to work through it. In terms of your,
I don't think I'll be okay to work through anything. I don't think there's
you can
gonna
do
be
it
an
cheaply
intelligent
on a-
thought in
You
my
can
head.
listen to your, you can listen to me when I call tonight.
I wish you would have given me a warning.
No way, not after what you said. I hung you out to dry.
Yeah, he did. He was like leaving, and he's like, "I'm gonna go back to the hotel." I'm like, "Oh, you pussy!" And he's just like, "Okay." And then
I knew what he was getting into.
I didn't. I still think it's funny your wife yelled at you. Does he know what he's getting into?
Nope.
That's when I
About
knew.
to get broadsided.
That's when I knew that I messed up.
She thought it was pretty funny.
I didn't.
I think I need to hear this story off camera. I don't know if I've caught this whole one.
It wasn't good. I'm barely here.
Barely here.
But you made it. It's good.
I guess. Probably like lost half my intelligence, and I don't have much of that to give. So.
So, will there be blood testing ever? Do you think for
Yes.
for testing?
I think some countries
That's
are
just
going
gonna be
to it.
It's gonna have
So
to.
much more expensive though.
Oh, that'll be the thing that'll hinder it.
If you can make it cost effective, yes.
I feel like the way blood works going in general, it's gonna eventually get there. It's just a matter of when, with how quickly.
I feel like in blood, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like I've heard this, that like detection times are so much longer too.
That doesn't surprise me.
So you can detect things that were taken so much
Yeah.
longer in the past.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's why like all those Olympic champions that just failed, because I think it was in 2008 or something, or 2010, they came up with like a much better way to detect stenazolol.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so people are like, we had somebody fail for that a long time ago. Why are they all getting caught now? It's like politics. It's like, no, we dramatically increased our efficiency at
Right.
detecting stenazolol now.
Oh, it's almost impossible to keep up with it. I know that's
Oh, yeah.
everybody's biggest concern about it. There's not enough. Well, it comes back to money. Not enough money in figuring out how to catch it versus creating something that's uncatchable.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it.
Oh yeah, that's where the money is. So
Yeah.
all these athletes making
We'll do
millions of
whatever
dollars
it
wanna.
takes to get there.
yep.
Is that,
They got
is that
smarter people on the wrong side of the
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Go where the money is.
One way to do
Why do
it.
you think there's still cyber attacks? Because there's not a lot of money in preventing it. There's plenty of money in making it happen.
Money.
Anything else new coming up? Things going on? People should be on the lookout for?
CJ
New research. Your new research project.
Our new research project.
Yeah, talk about how the story behind that development.
How did it even start? Oh,
We were tired from walking.
yeah. We had walked to Bourbon, or no, we took a cab to Bourbon, got dinner, walked to
A nice
Jackson
romantic
Square.
dinner for
Yeah, it
two.
was super cute.
Did you have your beard at the time? Because that would have been a good look.
Yeah, it did.
For both of you.
Yeah.
We walked to Jackson Square and then walked back to the hotel. It's probably like 2 miles of walking-ish.
But hot. And
But
humid.
yeah, like 100
Back to the
degrees.
Cooper thing. Like, we could get an Uber.
I said that multiple times. And we were talking back and forth, and then we finally get back to the hotel. We walk to where the poster presentations were. Nobody was in there, but there was a water cooler in there. And AJ wanted to drink some water. I wanted to drink something else, but we pulled up chairs and we were just talking. And I'm like, you have that gym wear. I'm like, I could probably get us like a couple world champion powerlifters to come into the lab and mess around with it. I'm like, I could probably get more than a couple. I could probably get a lot of world national champions and other powerlifters. And then ball went rolling and we decided we're gonna do like a velocity type profile, yeah, just getting like normative data and stuff like that against like.
Would you do that over at Iron Physique just for
Yeah,
We're gonna go
everywhere. Yeah. Where people are. That's
Oh,
the
you're
thing
gonna
about the
it's gonna
gym
be the
wear.
traveling band. I didn't know if you were gonna have them come in.
If they're around.
Yeah, if they're around.
That's why I asked. I don't like for the SBC. I don't know if we have enough weight to
No.
get to a point where it's worth
Yeah.
testing people.
Yeah, we'll bring it over
and
there.
kind of ideally like they're in their home.
Yeah. That's what I want.
They're in their home gym with their equipment they're comfortable with.
Yeah,
and they're used
interesting.
Because one of the talks that I went to was on velocity-based training. The guy just kept saying over and over, like, we need more data on these subpopulations that no one knows much about. No one
So
has
in
that
theory,
kind
we
of
should do that on all our D3 athletes too.
good.
It'd look a lot different then.
No, I know it would look a lot different.
Yeah,
I'm well aware.
Right,
But
that's
just
what.
a subpopulation.
Yeah, that's what he was
Just I don't know if
saying. Like, you can't extrapolate what we know about a certain population to all others because it can be very different based on lifting experience and skill sets and
there's- Sounds like we got to get the cloud.
Yeah, probably for that, for sure. So that's the new one. Got the IRB submitted. Hopefully get it
Nice.
back soon.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Hopefully something else comes through as well.
Yeah. Get some more toys to play with.
Hopefully the Australian guy can come up and show you how to use it.
Yeah.
He was just fun to listen to.
I saw that was the
That's-
email I'm assuming then.
Yep. That's him.
Like he'll be in the area.
He's been stateside for a while then because he came and talked with you.
It's been a while since he came by.
2 months, right? Wasn't that in May?
Probably.
Just hangs out U.S. for the summer.
So, I think he had a California phone number. So,
They were supposed to be NSCA. I didn't see.
Jim Moore?
Yeah. Did you see him? Because they said we'd meet up there and I never saw him.
I didn't go much to the expo except for the slingshot booth and
I've only been to
Nico.
one national conference, and I'm so happy I went to the expo because I picked up some things that I just would have probably never known about otherwise.
I got a lot of free beer at it the one night.
Amongst all the crap that you end up dealing with
Oh yeah.
and getting, but
There's some crazy gadgets there.
How many exhibitors are there?
Oh boy, I had to have been 300 plus.
yeah,
there.
It was a big, yeah.
That's what NATA was. Like 47
Nobody
times.
cares about athletic training.
Don't ever ask for help, ever again. Good lord.
That's funny.
I love you.
Yeah. Man, never mind. We're gonna switch who's picking up the bill on this one.
Reverse that order.
Just gonna delete all the footage.
Yep.
Just keep the part about you dancing in there.
Welcome to this episode of Clinically Pressed. Today we have a follow-up with Andy. I'm gonna quit powerlifting and start interpretive dance.
Boom, done.
Thanks for watching, guys.
And then the powerlifting world blew up. Anything else?
I don't think so.
No? Alright.
Stay tuned
following
for next
up.
time.
Yeah.
You in town, like, long term for another half a year?
Year.
that.
Year?
Well, you'll be done
Well,
in
yeah,
spring.
half because I have my internship in the spring.
Okay.
Unless I want to do it at UWL.
Sure, we could figure out some way.
I don't think I want to do that.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks, boss.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, guys.